the endless red heart of Australia, where the dust swirls like smoke and the silence feels ancient, there are stories buried deeper than the bones of the earth itself. Stories that don't live on paper, but breathe in whispers, passed from campfire to campfire, across generations. One of those stories is about something that once ruled this land, a creature of scales and shadow, a hunter that came in the night and vanished with the dawn. They called it the Whowie. The Whowie was no ordinary monster. To the people who lived on this land long before settlers came, it was more than a legend. It was a warning. The Aboriginal tribes along the Murray River told stories of a being so large, so powerful, that it could swallow a man whole. They said it lived deep within the caves carved into the riverbanks, where the air smelled of wet stone and decay. It only came out at night, when the wind went still and the stars hung low over the desert. The Whowie would rise from the black water, its skin glistening like oil, its eyes gleaming faintly in the moonlight. Some said it had 6 legs, each one as thick as a man's body, and a tail that could sweep the ground like a whip. Others said its head was like that of a frog, wide, wet, expressionless. And when it opened its mouth, you could see row after row of needle teeth, enough to grind through bone like sand. The first people who spoke of the Whowie didn't call it a monster. They called it a spirit, a guardian of balance, and a punisher of greed. They believed the Whowie slept for decades, maybe centuries, only to wake when the land was disrespected or when people took more than they needed. It was, they said, the land's way of reminding humans that the Outback was never theirs to own. There is an old story told by the Wemba people of New South Wales. They say the Whowie once lived in a cave near the Murray River, in a place where the cliffs rise red and sheer from the water. In those days, the villages were large and peaceful. The people hunted, fished, and sang songs to the spirits of the land. But one season, the rains did not come. The river shrank to a trickle and hunger began to spread. That was when the Whowie awoke. The first sign was the sound, a low, distant rumble that seemed to come from the earth itself. Then the animals began to vanish. First the kangaroos, then the wallabies, then the people. Those who went to fetch water did not return. Those who slept too close to the river were gone by morning. At first they thought it was bandits or maybe a rival tribe. But when the elders went searching, they found the ground torn apart. Massive claw marks gouged into the mud and pools of dark blood soaking the earth. That night, they heard it for the first time. A sound that shook the air. Not a roar, not a scream. Something in between. A deep, bubbling growl that rolled across the valley like thunder over stone. For nights, the tribe lived in fear. No one dared go near the river. But fear doesn't feed a hungry village. So, one evening, a group of hunters set out with spears and fire. They moved quietly through the reeds, their torches flickering in the cold wind. The moon was full. The river was black. They reached the cave, the one the elders had forbidden them to enter. It yawned open like a wound in the earth. And the smell, it was like rotting meat mixed with stagnant water. One of the hunters knelt and touched the mud. It was warm. And then, the ground beneath him moved, a ripple in the darkness, a wave of wet scales. And suddenly, 2 enormous eyes opened, glowing faintly yellow in the blackness. The Whowie lunged. The first hunter vanished in its jaws before he could scream. The others turned and ran, their torches falling to the ground, the firelight flickering on the creature's slick-scaled hide. They said it crawled after them, fast, impossibly fast for its size, its 6 legs thundering against the earth as it swallowed them one by one. Only one man survived. He ran all night, and by morning he was found half-mad, muttering about a creature that moved like smoke and smelled of the grave. The elders gathered. They knew the old songs, the ones that called upon the land to fight back. They said the Whowie could not be killed by weapons, but it could be trapped by fire. So they prepared a plan. For 7 days they gathered wood, dry branches, reeds, bark. They waited until the creature slept, its body coiled deep in its lair. Then they lit the fires. Smoke poured into the cave, thick and choking. For hours they waited. But when the Whowie finally stirred, its rage shook the ground. It burst from the cave, its skin blackened, its mouth wide. And for the first time the people saw its full size. It towered over them, its scales cracked and steaming, its eyes burning like coals. The tribes fought, their spears shattering against its hide, their fire flaring against its flesh. The Whowie roared, a sound so deep they said it could stop a man's heart. But the people stood their ground, and as the creature staggered back toward the cave, the elders sang. They sang the song of the river, the song that called the land to heal itself. And the ground opened beneath the Whowie's feet. The river rose, swallowing the creature whole, dragging it down into the dark. By dawn, the water was still again. The fires were out, and the cave was gone. But legends say the Whowie didn't die. It only slept, waiting for the day when the balance would once again be broken. Even now, locals tell strange stories along the Murray. Stories of something moving in the water at night, something too big to be a fish, too silent to be a crocodile. Fishermen say they've found enormous claw marks in the mud. Campers swear they've heard splashing followed by a low rumble that echoes across the river. And sometimes, just sometimes, something drags their nets under and doesn't give them back. Scientists, of course, dismiss the legend. They say it's folklore, a way for ancient people to explain danger, to teach respect for the land. But what if it wasn't? Australia is old, older than we can comprehend. And in the fossil beds of Queensland, paleontologists have uncovered bones, massive bones, belonging to creatures that once roamed this very place. Giant reptiles, 10 meters long, that hunted along the rivers and lakes of prehistoric Australia. Could one of them have survived? Could the memory of such beasts have burned itself into the collective story of the people who watched, who feared, who remembered? Maybe that's what the Whowie is. A memory, a shadow of something real that refused to die. Or maybe it still lives, hidden in the uncharted parts of the Outback where few ever go. In the long, dark cracks of the earth where the rivers disappear underground. Places that never see the light of day. They say that when the night grows still and the air feels heavy, when even the crickets stop singing, you should listen closely. Because somewhere in the distance, you might just hear it. That low, bubbling growl rolling through the trees, vibrating in your chest like the breath of something ancient. And if you do, don't look for it. Don't follow the sound. Because if the Whowie is awake again, you won't see it coming. You'll just feel the ground move beneath you. And then, nothing. Some say legends are only stories. But out here, in a land that's older than time itself. Stories are how the land remembers, and the land never forgets.